Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's Student Tonya here. I make videos based on student lifestyle, studying and productivity. So if you like that sort of content, then make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. And as you can tell from the title of today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys what I really wish I had knew before year 11, as the last year of secondary school goes really fast. The tips that I'm going to share with you are going to make your life so much more easier. So if you want to end your last year in secondary school really well, then make sure you take note and watch the whole video. And just for a disclaimer, I know I haven't actually done my GCSEs this year due to the pandemic, but having sat 2 rounds of mock exams, I really sat like I was sitting the real thing. But without further ado, let's get on to the video. Revision is about working smarter, not harder, and knowing your revision technique can save so much more time. So whether you like to use flashcards or you work better watching YouTube videos, personally for me, for each of my subjects, I had a different technique. For example, for English literature, it was more mind maps rather than flashcards, whereas with science, I used flashcards more than any other technique, and videos too. My next tip is to make revision along the way, and this saves so much time. I know literally everyone says this, but I cannot stress this enough. I would actually self-sabotage myself into thinking that spending half an hour for a day or on the weekend making flashcards was me actually revising, when that wasn't the case. All I was doing was literally rewriting my notes from class on a smaller piece of card, and that was wasting so much time. So I highly recommend you really do make revision along the way, because it's just so helpful, it really is. And don't do what I do and self-sabotage yourself into thinking you're revising when all you're doing is kind of procrastinating and not really actively learning information. My next tip is that before you go home, please make sure you actually understand what you've been taught. I know if you're a shy person, it can be maybe hard to approach your teacher during class to say you're finding this difficult. Everyone's different, but I don't know if this is something more that happens in the top sets, because I was in set 1 and set 2 for pretty much everything. And obviously if you're in a higher stage, you're expected to achieve well and do more, like better. Something that I kind of did and I really wish I hadn't was that, especially being in the top sets, I wouldn't ask for help because I felt like I was holding the class back, which honestly I really should have asked for help because it's for free and the teachers can't say no. So I really wish I had done that. Is because if you don't ask for help, you will honestly be doing double work. So when you get home, you'll be too busy trying to understand what you easily could have asked the teacher for help for, and on top of that, you'll probably be doing homework, or if it's like some sort of project you're doing or an assignment, and you don't want to be doing double the work. It's just going to absolutely drain you out. If you're too shy to ask in class you need help, you could maybe stay behind and ask the teacher, look, I really struggled on this, can you help me? Or you can even email the teacher. Just find a way to ask for help, please, because honestly you will regret not doing it. Revision can be fun. You don't always have to revise by yourself. When it comes towards the weeks of mocks, then you probably do want to focus more on yourself. Something that I really like to do was go into my local library with my friends. We will grab a bite before we go and we will actively revise. Or if you can go to more ambient studying settings, such as like a coffee shop, and grab some coffee. And it's just really nice to have like a supportive network of friends to, I guess, support you through these hard times. I say hard times is because it's only going to be hard if you make it hard. And I guess a good thing with revising with friends is that if there's something that you don't understand, then they can explain really well. They can help when the teacher's not there. But obviously try to actively revise and not procrastinate. I know you're friends, but it's GCSEs, honey. You gotta get them grades. Or if you can't meet up in person, you can either do a video call. This is something that I actually did sometimes if I couldn't go out for certain reasons. And for those of you who don't have like a group of friends and you're an alone sheep, should I say, that could be probably the best thing for you during the last year. Not to be alone all the time, but because you're alone, you have time to really focus on yourself. You have no one or anyone to bother you. So I guess think that as an opportunity to really focus on yourself and really get them grades that you want and deserve. If you fail to plan, you're honestly planning to fail. Period. They say year 11 and GCSEs are really stressful, and it's only stressful if you make it to be, which is why organisation is key. So having some sort of organisation system or storage of notes is really important, whether you store your notes in folders or in plastic wallets. If you don't know already, I'm going to sixth form this September, but I still have all my GCSE folders in my room. So if you'd like an organisation video on my GCSE folders, then hit that like button. I'd be happy to do so, because having your notes all organized, you can just easily locate certain topics, so you can just take it out your folder and just revise, and it just makes your life so much more easier. My second organization tip is to schedule a timetable. Again, I know this is a cliche, but before I would think, I don't need a timetable, I will just get up and revise whatever subject I'm feeling to do, which is not the way to go. Because if you have that mindset, you're more likely to revise for subjects that you like or you find easier, and you're not going to pay attention to the other subjects or revise equally for them. It's important to have spaced intervals of repeating a paper or topic, because the more you repeat something is going to stick longer in your long-term memory. So when it comes to a test or exam you have, it will literally become second nature and you can recall information really quickly. So really take time and think about a revision timetable that suits well for you. A timetable for after school when you start September, and when it gets closer to the time, because you will have some weeks off as you have the Easter holidays, etc. Make a timetable for when you're not at school as well. And my advice for making timetables is that if you're making a timetable for when you're off at school, try to stick it to your school hours, so it's not too different, and so that you are more prone to sticking to that timetable, because it's similar to your everyday school hours. My last tip on organization is to really try to master organization, as this will allow you to have a stress-free life. So this doesn't even have to be about GCSEs itself. Anything that's going on in your life is really important to plan a week, and if you can, maybe a month ahead. Whether if you have an appointment to go somewhere, an event or a friend's birthday party, etc., make sure you plan this in advance, so if there are last minute changes you need to make, you can make them. Once you can master this, you can have so much more time for yourself. You really can. Not all the time, whenever you have free time, you always have to be revising. Yes, revision is important, but it's also important to take a break and do things you enjoy. An example of this is Eve Bennett. If you don't know who she is, she's a very well-known British study tutor, and I watched one of her videos on her advice for year 11 in 2018, and she said that she did like so much things. If I can recall, she was doing like a Duke of Edinburgh. She was doing some sort of like volunteer. I don't know if it's like something to do like with brownies or something, but she was just doing so much things, and it was kind of insane. I'm like, wow, I literally did nothing, which I kind of really regret. I really wished I did do something that I enjoyed instead of just revising literally like all the time, every minute of the day. And being organized is knowing what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. Maintaining a healthy mental and physical state is so important during GCSEs. So my top tip in able to fulfill this: avoid any sort of drama, avoid it at all costs. Anything to do with friendship groups, etc., just avoid it. Don't get involved. You're not involved. Because it's not worth it, it really isn't. At the end of the day, you didn't just work so hard for 3 years just to throw it all down the drain just because of a group of friends. Like, you really did not just do that, and you won't do that. You won't. Because we need to get those grades, sis. You worked hard for it. At the end of the day, friends come and go, and at the end of year 11, people are going to go their separate ways. People are going to go to college or sixth form, and some people you're never going to see again. So I really wouldn't stress it, to be honest. Never involved in drama, just no. We don't do that here. We don't. Like I did mention earlier, having a network of supportive friends would be nice, but if you're a loner and you don't have friends like that, don't try to make the effort to now make friends. But if you are that person, because there are generally people who don't have like big groups of friends and they're like always alone, then like I said earlier, it's okay, it's fine. Don't go out your way to start making friends now, is because everyone's going to go their separate ways soon. My next tip, which is so important: don't burn yourself out. I really wish I had not done this. It's because burning yourself out is just so bad for you. It's because if you burn yourself out, you end up falling to sleep really late. And not only that, you would have sleepless nights. And because you never slept really well, you probably end up falling asleep in class. The worst feeling is when you're in a classroom and you're trying so hard not to fall asleep, but your body just wants to shut down and there's nothing you can do about it. And you miss really important information on a certain topic, and it's just so frustrating because then you probably have to stay after school, or you probably have to go home and redo the whole lesson, and that is not what you want to do because it's just so long. So just make sure you don't burn yourself out. I really wish I hadn't. If you do know me personally, after lessons, I'll literally just go to the library, or I wouldn't socialize or nothing. I was on it. This leads on to a point where I really wished I understood the concepts earlier. It's because the reason why I was burning myself out, because maybe in the previous years, I didn't really pay that much attention. So all of that time wasted, I really had to put all the energy to get the grades I wanted. So if there's something you don't understand, like I said earlier, make sure you tell that teacher. So going down near to my November mocks, which was last year in November. So when people are just using flashcards just to memorize information, they're not doing like really in-depth study. I was too busy learning concepts which I should have known and understood way earlier on, and because of that, that led me to burn myself out. So now looking back, I'm just like, was the burnout really worth it? I'm not even going to sit my exams. And my final tip for this video is make sure you enjoy year 11. I know it can be a very stressful year and it's your last year of secondary school, so just make the most of it. It's because you're more time not going to see your friends because you're going to go your separate ways. Although there's a lot of stress revising for the mocks and the actual exams, try to enjoy it. So make sure you make time to go to that friend's birthday party. It's because, like I said, you're more time not going to see your friends again, so you probably really want to enjoy having their company or spending time with them for the last time. Like I mentioned earlier with Eve Bennett, she did so many things, and I really wished and kind of regretting that I did some things too, as I literally postponed everything that I wanted to do, such as extracurricular activities. I know pretty much everyone in my school never did any extracurricular activities, but if not activities in school, maybe something that you do at home. If you like to, I don't know, play a music instrument, or if there's a certain hobby that you enjoy doing, whether that's photography, or it literally could be anything, please make sure you take the time to do things that you enjoy, because if you take that away from you, GCSEs are not going to be that enjoyable. So yes, please make sure you enjoy yourself. So this comes to the end of this video. If you really enjoyed this video and found this helpful, please give this video a big thumbs up, as YouTube will put my video more out there on the YouTube platform, helping me grow as a small YouTuber. Don't forget to follow me on social media, as I post content on there that you won't see on this channel. If you did find this video helpful, then make sure you share it to anyone who might be entering year 11 this September. And lastly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, as well as the notification bell, so you won't miss another video from me. Once again, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!